This is the standard operating procedure of unbridled capitalism. It doesn't matter if people are dying as long as the money keeps just rolling in. In the 1980s, Bayer Pharmaceuticals sold a blood-clotting medicine infected with HIV, causing 20,000 people to contract the virus. The company stopped selling the drug in the U.S. in 1984, but continued to sell it overseas for an additional year. FDA regulators helped to keep the continued sales hidden. The corporations have captured the regulatory agencies, the enforcement agencies, and our lawmakers. So while the media suddenly woke up to the opioid epidemic a year ago, they don't mention that it's because we live in a corporate oligarchy, completely detached from what is humane, ethical, or sustainable. You could super Purdue or the Sacklers into the ground in this system, and it would still continue. Also, Afghanistan produces 90% of the illicit opium in the world, and the U.S. uses 80% of that, and the Taliban had actually banned opium just before we invaded in 2001, meaning we caused opium production to skyrocket, and since that time, heroin overdoses have quadrupled in the U.S., so there's also that. But I can't cover everything. I'm doing the best I can. We have to go to a quick break. We'll be right back.
هلا بقولها هي اجوا ايدي يعني. هلا في كتير ناس قاعدين بيستغربوا انه كيف بسوق مثلا، فانا لقيتها عادي كتير جدا يعني، ماني خايف. وانا هلا بشتغل على سائق تاكسي.
سلامتك خير.
والله من هلا جميل.
ايه اول شيء الواحد بيكتب رمز تبع حبيبته، يعني كان حرف الراء هي اسمها روان.
أتوقع إنه كان ياخذ حسانين.
هيك.
كان التعبير الدولي بموضوع رأس المنازل هاي شفتوا برضه؟ ايه معلوم اكيد ذكر انا من خلاله تقريبا رجعت للحياة، رجعت اختلطت مع البشر.
عندي جيش، عندي بقر، عندي غنم، زراعة بالأرض، حوش ليمون، كله هذا كأني طبيعي، ما راح نفقد لي شيء الحمد لله.
Surfaces about the 4 troops killed in Niger this month. Many Americans are crying out, "This is outrageous! We're in Africa? Did Congress vote to go to war with African countries? What the hell is going on?" No, I'm just kidding. The World Series was on, so no one was asking that. But we're going to talk about it. Here to inform us more is our war correspondent, Naomi Caravani. Naomi.
Lee, I am no war correspondent. I'm the security enhancement correspondent. And now I've studied conflict zones from Narnia to Nambia, from the Balkans to the bathroom line at Mackey's Pub. That's where I got this scar.
I was wondering about that. So why was everyone unaware of our military presence in Niger? Even Senator Lindsey Graham said
you can't expect warmongering senators to know all the places we have troops. It's way too much to keep track of. They just sell the wars. Don't ask them any details. They don't know anything. It's like Home Depot. I mean, how could Congress have known? General Waldhauser gave a top-secret press briefing on Africa, which only aired on C-SPAN.
The Nigerians have been good partners. We are not building a base there. We are. It's common knowledge. It's in the media that we are at Agadez.
Okay, common knowledge? He's just throwing around code words like Agadez.
That's not a code word. That's the city we have a drone base in.
But to senators, it's a mysterious code word.
The problem is that the media didn't tell us that we were at war in Africa until our troops were basically being killed over there. So
Lee, it's not war. According to the Pentagon, it's low-intensity irregular warfare. A completely different thing. See, the Special Operations Mission in Africa started in 2007, mainly for joint training with local troops to combat terrorism. And now, under AFRICOM, American troops are combating terrorism. But it's not a war. Not a war. Wars have endings.
True. And now they're building military and drone bases over there.
Military bases and drone bases? Do you kiss your mother with that mouth? They're called forward operating sites, of which we have 2, and we have 11 to 13 cooperative security locations and 33 to 41 contingency locations in 24 to 54 countries in Africa. We only have 1 military base in Djibouti. Of course, the others are...
Can I stop you? That's really vague. We're in 24 to 54 countries? Do you know any of these numbers for certain?
Yes, I'm certain we're in 24 to 54 countries. What do you expect, Lee? It's the fog of low-intensity irregular warfare. Which is a terrible movie title, but probably great for Netflix. They'll produce anything now. I know you're worried that further militarizing corrupt governments in Africa could create more distrust of Americans and more terrorists, just like this same strategy created in Libya. But that's just how the war on terror rolls, baby.
You said it. You said war. I saw it.
No,
you called it a war.
No, I didn't. I said, which is Swahili for hot fudge.
Hot fudge on terror.
Yes, it's delicious.
The U.S. is playing war games, and it's the African people who ultimately suffer. It's terrible.
What do you want us to do, Lee? Develop economic relationships there like China? We didn't go to Africa to make friends. We already have friends in Europe, and they agree that Africa's a conflict zone, okay?
The entire continent of Africa is not a conflict zone.
Yes, it is. We're combating terrorism and clashing with the Chinese, who are forming friendships with Africans when it's supposed to be a conflict zone.
Wait, are we there for terrorists or competition with the Chinese?
See, that's another area of conflict in Africa. The conflict between our stated reason for being there and our actual reason.
Neil McGarvani, everyone!